Om Shanti. This is the Avyakt Murli of 8th of April 1982, and the title is The Renunciation of Lokik and Alokik Relationships. Today, Bap Dada is seeing his special souls who are great donors and bestowers of blessings. The basis of becoming a great donor and bestower of blessings is to become great renunciate. Without becoming a great renunciate, you cannot become a great donor or a bestower of blessings. To be a great donor means to be someone who gives selflessly to other souls all the treasures he has received. Only souls who are beyond selfishness can become great donors. A bestower of blessings will constantly experience himself to be full of the treasures of virtues, powers, and knowledge. He will constantly have elevated and pure wishes for all souls and will always have the elevated desire to benefit all souls. Only those who have such elevated desires are constantly spiritually merciful and generous-hearted can become bestowers of blessings. For this, it is necessary to become a great renunciate. You have been told the definition of renunciation. The first renunciation is the renunciation of the consciousness of your body. The second is the renunciation of the connections of the body. The first connection of the body is with the physical senses. The second step is to become a conqueror of the senses and to become someone with all rights over them. You have also been given a clear explanation of this. The third aspect is of relations of people with your body. Both lokik and alokik relations are included in this. You have to be a great renunciate in both these types of relations. That is, you have to be a destroyer of attachment. The sign of being a destroyer of attachment in both types of relations is that there will neither be dislike for anyone or will there be attachment to or dependence on anyone. If you dislike anyone, then the defects of that person or actions that you don't like performed by that one will repeatedly disturb your intellect. Even against your conscious wish, you will automatically have wrong ideas about that person in your thoughts, words, and dreams. You will try to remember the Father, but that soul will appear in front of you. Similarly, for a soul to whom you are attached or dependent upon in your heart, they will automatically attract you, even against your conscious wish. That soul will attract your intellect with his virtues or love, and a soul you dislike will disturb your intellect because of your selfish motives not being fulfilled. Until those selfish motives are fulfilled, the karmic account of opposing that soul in your thoughts and actions will continue. The seed of dislike is a royal form of a selfish motive, and that is should do, karna chahiye. This one should do this. He shouldn't do that. This should happen. In this way, desire of what you want to happen forges a wasteful relationship with that soul. Because of constantly having wasteful thoughts for a soul you dislike, you spin the disgust of looking at others. This wasteful relationship will not even allow you to become a destroyer of attachment. There wouldn't be love out of love, but out of force. What do you then say? I am so fed up. Of course, the intellect would be pulled by whoever is making you fed up. Your time will be wasted in that. Your intellect will be wasted in that, and your powers will be wasted in that. Therefore, the first one is this relationship. The second one is attachment or dependence on the basis of perishable love or attainment, or because someone has become a temporary support for you. This too pulls your intellect towards itself in terms of both lokik and alokik relationships. In lokik life, when you receive love, support, or attainments from bodily relationships, you have special attachment for those people. Then you make effort to break away from that attachment, and you aim to stop your intellect being pulled by them in any way. After you let these go, it is these same things with alokik relationships that pull your intellect. That is, they easily make your intellect depend on them. These too are relationships with bodily beings. When you experience a problem in life, or there is some confusion in your heart, even against your conscious wish, you will only remember the soul who has given you some temporary support, someone who has given you some temporary attainment, or a soul whom you have attachment. You won't remember the Father. Then, once again, what do the souls who have such attachment think and say in order to justify themselves and defend themselves? That the Father is incorporeal and subtle, that someone is definitely needed in the corporeal form. However, you forget that if you have the relationship of all attainments with the one Father, that if you experience all relationships and you trust and have very firm faith in the bestower of support, then, although Bapdada is incorporeal and subtle, he is bound to you in the bond of love. He gives you the feeling of the corporeal form. What is the reason why you don't experience this? Through knowledge, you have understood that you have to have all relationships with the one Father, but you haven't brought all of those relationships into your practical life. This is why you are unable to experience all relationships in a practical way. Since on the path of devotion, the most elevated devotee, Mira, didn't just have a vision, but also had a practical experience. Then, can't the children, who are the embodiments of the knowledge, the direct children of the ocean of knowledge, experience through the corporeal form the one who is the basis of all attainments, the Father, the bestower of support? So, why do you put aside the Almighty authority and make souls who are number-wise in their capacity your support? Therefore, you must also keep this very deep account of karma in your intellect. The account of karma is very deep. You must understand this. When you take some temporary support from a soul, or you make someone the basis of your attainment, then because your intellect is dependent on that soul, instead of your becoming karmatit, a bondage of karma is created. One gave and the other one took, and there was thereby an exchange of a soul with another soul. Therefore, did you create an account through that exchange of give and take? Or did you finish something? At that time, you feel as though you are making progress, but that progress is not really progress, but an accumulation in your account of karmic bondage. What would the result of that be? A soul bound by a bondage of karma will not be able to experience any relationship with the Father. A soul who has the burden of karmic bondage will not be able to experience being completely stable in the stage of the pilgrimage of remembrance. Such souls will always be weak in the subject of remembrance. They may be clever and sensible in listening to knowledge and relating it, but they won't be essence-full. They will be serviceable, but will not be destroyers of obstacles. They will make service grow, but that growth won't be through the right method. Such souls become speakers, but because of their burden of karmic bondage, they're unable to progress with speed. That is, they're unable to experience the speed of the flying stage. Both of these types of relationships of the body don't allow you to become great renunciate. Therefore, first of all, simply check your relationships of the body as to whether you have attachment to anyone in terms of dislike or in terms of attainment or support from them. That is, check that your intellect is not dependent. If your intellect is repeatedly pulled to someone, or if there is dependence on someone, it proves that there is a burden. Something that is burdened always bows down. Therefore, this too becomes a burden of karma, and thus, even though you may not want it, to your intellect does bow down there. Do you understand? As yet, Baba has only told you about one thing connected with the body. Therefore, ask yourself, have I renounced all relationships of the body? Or have I renounced everything with the lokik, but then forged them with the alokik? Souls who are going to become karmatik also have to renounce this bondage of karma. So for Brahmins, renunciation of these relationships is true renunciation. So, do you now understand the definition of renunciation? Now, Baba will tell you more later. This is a weekly course of renunciation. Has today's lesson become firm? The specialty of Brahmins is to be great renunciates. Fortune cannot be attained without renunciation. You don't think just because you have become Brahma Kumars and Kumaris that you have renounced everything, do you? The definition of renunciation is deeper for Brahma Kumars and Kumaris. Do you understand? Acha. To those who are constantly selfless, to those who are benefactors for everyone and accumulate by using all attainments for service, to those who are constant bestowers, the children of the bestower, to those who are selfless in terms of taking any temporary attainment, to the elevated souls who are great donors and bestowers of blessings, the ones who constantly have good wishes and benevolent feelings for all, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Bap Dada meeting teachers. Do you server souls constantly only have the one aim of becoming equal to the Father? This is because you are seated on the seat of being equal to the Father. Just as the Father became a teacher and the instrument to give you teachings, so too, server souls are fixed to perform the same duty, the same as that of the Father. As are the Father's virtues, so too are the virtues of the instrument servers. Therefore, first of all, check whether the words you speak are constantly equal to those of the Father. Are the thoughts you create equal to those of the Father? If not, then after checking, change them before putting them into action. What will happen by checking yourself and then putting it into practice? Just as the Father is loving to all and is also detached from all, even though he is the server, so too, by serving in this way, you will be spiritually loved by all. Together with this, you will also remain detached from everyone. The main specialty of the Father is that he is detached to the same extent that he is loving. Be as loving as the Father is in the service, and constantly remain loving to the one Father with your intellect's yoga and detached from everyone else. This is called being a server equal to the Father. Therefore, to be a teacher means to follow this specialty of the Father. All of you are working very hard in service, but you do have to pay special attention because sometimes you have to be detached and sometimes loving. If you don't do service with love, that is not right. Whereas if you do service while being trapped in love, that too is not right. Therefore, do service with love, but do it while remaining detached. For only then will there be success in service. If the success you receive is less than the effort you make, then something is definitely lacking in your balance of being loving and detached. Therefore, a server means someone who is loving to the Father and detached. That is the best stage of all. This is what is meant as a life like that of a lotus. This is why Shaktis are shown seated on a lotus. It is because they are as loving and detached as a lotus that they are portrayed sitting on a lotus. So, all you servers are seated on a lotus. Are you not? A seat means your stage. That stage has been portrayed in the form of a seat. However, it isn't that someone is accurately seated on a lotus. Therefore, always remain seated on the lotus seat. Always pay attention that the lotus never falls into the mud. Bap Dada meeting Kumars. To belong to the Father in your Kumar life is a sign of such great fortune. Do you experience having been saved from being tied in so many bondages? A Kumar life means a life that is free from many bondages. You don't have any type of bondage. There shouldn't even be the bondage of the consciousness of the body. All bondages come due to the consciousness of the body. Therefore, constantly continue to move along while considering yourselves to be souls, brothers. By having this awareness, you will be able to move forward in your Kumar life and remain free from obstacles. There should not be any weakness even in your thoughts or dreams. This is called being a destroyer of obstacles. While walking and moving along, you should have the natural awareness of being souls. When you look at others, look at the soul. When you listen to something, listen while considering yourself to be a soul. Never forget this lesson. Kumars can go ahead a great deal in service. However, while serving, if you forget to serve yourself, then obstacles come. A Kumar means to be a hard worker, but you do have to be free from obstacles. There should be the balance of both serving the self and serving the world. Don't become so busy in service that you become careless in serving yourself. Because you Kumars can make yourselves move forward as much as you want. Kumars also have physical strength. You also have the power of determination. This is why you can do whatever you want. Because you have both these powers, you can move forward. However, you do need the art of balancing to take you into the stage of ascent. When there is balance of serving the self and serving the world, there will continue to be progress that is free from obstacles. Do you Kumars constantly consider yourselves to be with the Father? I and the Father are constantly together. Have you become such constant companions? Usually one or another person becomes a companion in life. So, who is your life companion? The Father. You could never ever find such a true companion. No matter how lovely your companion may be, physical companions can never fulfill the responsibility of companionships for all time, whereas this true spiritual companion will constantly fulfill the responsibility of companionship. Therefore, are you Kumars alone, or are you combined? Combined. So, you don't have any thoughts of making someone else your companion, do you? Whenever any difficulty arises, or when you are ill, when there is difficulty about preparing food, do you have such a thought of making someone your companion or not? Whenever you have any such thought, then consider that to be a wasteful thought and finish it for all time in a second. This is because today you may make that one your companion, but what guarantee do you have of that person for tomorrow? Therefore, what would be the benefit of making someone impermanent as your companion? So by constantly considering yourselves to be combined, all other thoughts will finish because the Almighty Authority is your companion. Just as darkness cannot remain in front of the sun, so too Maya cannot stay in the front of the Almighty Authority. Only then will you all become conquerors of Maya. Acha, blessing. May you be an embodiment of success who is sensible and does 3 types of service simultaneously. According to the present time, you have to do 3 types of service through your thoughts, words, and deeds simultaneously. Together with words and deeds, you must continue to serve with pure thoughts in your mind and also have an elevated attitude, and you will receive the fruit of that. Words can only have that power when your mind is powerful. Otherwise, you become like a pandit who just talks about it because he just repeats like a parrot whatever he reads. A jnani soul is one who is sensible and does all 3 types of service simultaneously and receives the blessing of success at the same time. Slogan: the greatness of a great soul is to give every soul the experience of peace, happiness, and power through his every word and action and look. Om Shanti.